Recording is in progress. Good morning, everyone. And so we will begin. It's 10 after. Several of us are jumping from another meeting, but we would like to welcome you in this platform. And so just to begin, I'd like to start with our disclaimer, which is just to let you know that the information presented on the Prophet Cox Show is for educational purposes only. Information presented is not intended to serve as a substitute for diagnosis, treatment, or advice from a qualified licensed medical professional. Any treatment choices or protocols that you consider should be discussed with your physician or licensed medical professional of your choice. Also, just to know that these sessions are recorded each week, and it will be live streamed after we pass the initial opening. Please feel free to change your screen name or turn your video off if you do not wish to be identified during the recording. However, we do ask that if you're asking questions, you can put those in the chat. In the chat, you can also put your name and your organization, your best contact information. You can also put questions and comments in there as well. If you're going to speak, we would kind of like for you to show your face at least for a few minutes. And so we would like to welcome you to the Let's Talk, Let's Heal, the Prophet Cox Show. And this is Tuesday, June the 14th. We start every week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a special guest today. And so we have, let's see, I need to find a way to I can't see with the screen up. So I will watch on my phone to see when our guest actually comes in. And until then, the Let's Talk, Let's Heal Prophet Cox Show is a humanitarian enterprise in association with Unity Health Network, Node, Global Unity Net, Safe Healthy Spaces Kansas, LLC. I am AMARE International, the International Institute for Health and Wellness, Reconciliation Ministry Without Walls, Andrew Networks, Anyanwu, Oshun Runnels, and other content experts that we host each week. And also we adhere to and we work to support the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them. I usually have a video, but we won't today because again, hoping to be able to have as much time as possible for our guests. We do want to acknowledge that this particular program works to support the third sustainable goal, which has to do with health, and then quality education, which is for gender equality. We also decent work and economic growth, which has been a part of each speaker that comes on, whether it's mental health, whether it's agriculture. We're always looking at the possibilities of how we can support the economics and well-being of those who are watching. Also reduce inequalities, which kind of goes along with gender equality because we want equality and decrease inequality for everyone. Responsible production and partnership for the goals. So this week, let me go with this next. I am Prophet Anyanwu Cox. Again, I apologize to have been on another meeting for about 3 hours, so just playing catch up here. Prophet Anyanwu Cox, and I am a licensed registered nurse with more than 40 years of experience specializing in mental health, complementary, alternative, and integrative therapies, addiction of all sorts, trauma, death, and dying, life transitions, and support around transitioning to the other realm. I'm an ordained minister, holistic practitioner with over 30 years of experience in service and engagement, advocacy, education, community education, one-on-one education, in-school education, life skills coaching with populations of diverse ages, ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds, and gender and communities, primarily across the United States as well as engaging with communities holistically in India, the UK, Africa, Jamaica, and Canada. And we like to start each week just inviting everyone on here to take a day to heal. We take a day to heal from the lies that we've been told and the ones that we've told ourselves. And that comes from our ancestor, Dr. Maya Angelou. So let's see, we'll go through this. When you came in, you would have heard some music that was playing, and there was a video going with the music that had some interesting symbols and colors, which all are part of a whole healing from color and sound that we'll talk more about on another show. But that particular music and video was a product of the Monroe Institute and Robert Allen Monroe, who passed on in transition on March the 17th, 1995, was a radio broadcasting executive, and he was known for his his research in altered consciousness, and for the founding of the Monroe Institute. He was assisted by specialists in psychology, medicine, biochemistry, psychiatry, electrical engineer, physics, and education. And he developed, or the Monroe, the Monroe Institute, it was primarily his research, developed Hemi-Sync process. The Monroe Institute community is a diverse community. They welcome people from all backgrounds. I actually went there for 3 different events. Our growing community includes nuclear physicists, doctors, lawyers, computer scientists, and IT professionals, realtors, homemakers, psychologists, so on and so forth. There are actually medical doctors around the world who use the technology. There's a series that's for surgery that helps to decrease the body's reaction to surgery, which can act against actually the healing process. There's something for education I used for my son that had some difficulties in school at one point. And so there's even one for death and dying to support people as they make their transition to the next round. But I wanted to expose you to that while we wait for our speaker to come on. Because they're also multitasking today, they should be on about 1/2 So this tells you a little bit about sound medicine as it relates to Hemi-Sync. This is not the only sector of sound medicine, but it is one.
To find out who and what we really are.
So this is where I went a couple 3 times.
This is the premier facility in the world for the exploration of consciousness.
It is really a remarkable moment in history.
We are a research and educational organization.
All I can say to you, it is actually magical.
If it's too loud, turn your sound down. I think I have it too loud. Turn your sound down on your computer.
To find out who and what we really are.
The answers are only found in the exploration of consciousness.
29 hertz Sam, boom, got a response. We found evidence.
Open your mind to a whole new concept of what you are.
Of a larger consciousness system.
Using different cosmologies.
I was catapulted into a near-death experience.
I'm absolutely positive that space and time is an illusion.
And the author of this book, Journeys Out of the Body. Would you welcome Robert Monroe? What is an out-of-body experience? A state of awareness separate from the physical body. Everyone does this.
When you first had yours, were you frightened?
I was totally frightened. Hurried myself down to my favorite doctor. He couldn't find anything wrong with me. And that began the search.
We must open our minds.
This is your experience.
We possess the ability to obtain the answers.
You are indeed more than your physical body.
You are more than your physical body.
But how do you know?
Maybe the language of science.
The entrainment of EEG activity.
You've all probably seen these 16-channel EEG recorded synchronizing of hemispheres.
Meditative states. Mind consciousness deserves broad scientific treatment.
He just wanted to understand.
Very high tech, very sophisticated, using the very finest sound technology.
It's going to put you into a meditation state.
The state of consciousness we call body asleep, mind awake.
And it works.
An amazing experience.
Phenomenal.
It's like going to Hogwarts.
Let's see, I think what I do. Is turn my sound down because it sounds loud on my side, and then I'll continue. That's okay.
Of course.
Okay. So that's the Monroe. And so this is, again, we have a couple more minutes before the speaker comes in. And so this is Dr. Bruce Lipton, who has a whole series on epigenetics, which I mentioned in our earlier presentation. But in this one, he's talking about Hemi-Sync. So again, Hemi-Sync is a product originally of Robert Monroe. And some of the technology was actually used in a couple projects in the military. I actually had an opportunity to meet one of the, I don't know if he was, I don't think he was a general, but he was over one of the projects in the military that utilized Hemi-Sync to recover some of the prisoners of war.
Hi, dear friends, cultural creatives, and imaginal selves everywhere. Bruce back. And this month's newsletter, I really want to focus on something called an urban myth. And this particular urban myth is the belief that we only operate off of 10% of our brain. So we've all heard that, yes, we're only using 10% of our brain, and boy, if we could use all the rest of it, we'd be super smart. But hey, that's all we use. Firstly, where did that number come from, 10%? A long time ago, when putting the body together through an understanding of histology and the cells that make up organs, a study of the brain revealed one very important fact, and that is only 10% of the brain was made up of neurons. 90% of the cells in the brain were not neurons, but they were called supporting or connective tissue and given the name glial cells. Well, what's really interesting about that is in the neuron principle, the neuron doctrine, it was believed that the neurons were the functional cells of the brain and the glial cells were more or less just support. Well, then by definition, right away, it says then you're only using 10% of your brain because that's all that the neurons comprise in the brain, 10%. For a long time, the glial cells, again, were thought to be just like connective tissue support physically and nutritionally the neurons. But over the last number of decades, what we started to find is this: there was a misunderstanding about glial cells. That glial cells are a lot more important in neural function than just physical support. Glial cells can inhibit or activate neurons. Glial cells connect to neurons. Glial cells can control the activity of neurons. So all of a sudden, these glial cells, which were looked at as just passive cells in the brain, turn out to be actually quite functional in integrating the nature of how the brain works. In a way of looking at it, in a simple analogy, consider that the neurons are nouns in a sentence, and that the glial cells are the verbs and the adjectives and the adverbs, the modifiers of all the nouns. So the glial cells create a fulfillment of a picture. So neurons are like a stick figure, and when you add the glial cells, you fill out the nature of the whole human. So glial cells become a very functional, integrated part of all neuronal activity. So the concept of the neuron doctrine that said only neurons are involved with functioning in the nervous system, it turns out the glial cells are as well. So now we're not dealing with 10% of the brain, we're dealing with 100% of the brain. Yes, you have access to 100% of your brain all of the time. But does that mean that we actually use the whole brain all of the time? And the answer is no. Because what we start to find out is when we start to live in patterns and in habits, that what happens is we just activate certain neuronal pathways that are habitual pathways. And as a result, these are the pathways that have preference in our everyday life. But if you can engage whole brain activity, you can enhance your consciousness and your awareness and your ability to control your life. So basically it says that we can become whole brain when we start to think holistically, instead of just playing recurrent programs that play over and over again and activate the same pathways. So the relevance is that once we start to engage in whole brain activity, we enhance our ability as humans on this planet. And now we're beginning to find out there are many different ways to engage and activate the whole brain. Some of them involve simple exercises such as something called brain gym. And brain gym is a very interesting exercise of the body and the nervous system integration in this way. My right hand is controlled by my left hemisphere. My left hand is controlled by my right hemisphere. But here's an interesting story. If my right hand, controlled by my left hemisphere, crosses the midline, then it simultaneously gets picked up by the other hemisphere because now it's in that territory as well. So when you cross your arms and when you cross your legs, what you're doing is causing the right and the left hemispheres to work together in harmony. When we are activating brain synchronization, where right and left hemispheres are engaged together simultaneously, it activates something like superlearning. With both hemispheres working together, we have much more superior characteristics of neural function. However, after age 7 and 8, we start to express what is called brain dominance, meaning during the day, we don't have synchronization of both hemispheres. During the day, it's like a wave form. Sometimes we're more in the left hemisphere, sometimes we're more in the right, then it comes back to the left and back to the right, so that we're cycling through one hemisphere at a time. This is called brain dominance, where one hemisphere is dominant over the other hemisphere. Well, the relevance about that is integrating our lives is very difficult in brain dominance for a simple reason. As been suggested, our left hemisphere is based on logic and details. Our right hemisphere is actually associated with emotions and wholeness. And this becomes very important because if you're only looking with your left hemisphere, then all the logic things make sense, but there's no emotional component to it. And reverse, if you're in the right hemisphere, you get emotionally tied up, but the logic drops out. Well, this happens to us ever since the time we were 8 through our adult life. If you can get both hemispheres to be in sync, Hemi-Sync, then you're engaging logic and emotions at the same time. That opens up a window for super learning opportunities where you can download information very, very quickly and very fast, but it also opens up a whole wide range of thinking that includes an emotional component as well as an intellectual component, which is necessary to fulfill a whole picture. So if you're operating from brain dominance, you're actually shutting off one component of your nervous system at that time. So if you do an exercise like brain gym where you're involved with crossing your arms and your legs, when you do that, you start to integrate both. Very interestingly, when we have Hemi-Sync, we're much more calm, collected, and able to really express neurological functions that are very fully supporting of ourselves. And this is why it's very interesting when you go home and relax at night, sometimes you find yourself with your ankles crossed over each other just sitting in your chair. without even knowing what you're doing, by crossing your ankles, you're actually engaging a whole brain process. So if you're stressed, for example, during the day, or you just want to relax when you go home at night, crossing your arms and legs actually engages both hemispheres, which calms the system down, but engages a whole brain process. So you become much more effective in your relaxed state. So if you're having a tough moment during the day, just take a moment and cross your arms and legs. Hold them together and just wait for about 3 or 4 minutes, and you'll start to feel a calmness overcome. And in this calmness, your neurological functions will be totally enhanced. When we start to operate from patterns that are replayed every day, we start to express very specific pathways that are reused over and over and over again. And as a result, we actually shut down a large amount of functioning of the brain and just go through the habit, the patterns that replay themselves over and over again. So basically, what you really have to understand is this: we can use 100% of the brain, but if we play the same patterns over and over again, we don't need to use 100% of the brain. So, simple point, I'd just like to suggest that once you start to recognize that you can have Hemi-Sync, where you can get right and left hemispheres to engage together and stay conscious, you are using 100% of your brain activity. And when you do that, you'll also find that your life is easier, more harmonious, and healthier. Because when you're using your full nervous system, it will support your life and enhance your growth. And this becomes important. So don't get stuck that I'm only using 10% of my brain. That story is false. You can use 100%, and it's available to us. And basically all you have to understand is this: stay conscious, stay mindful, and stop playing the same patterns over and over again, because that opens up an opportunity to create new behavior when you stop playing the programs.
So we're going to move quickly to our guest because we want as much time as possible with her. We read this every week. I won't read it today, but you're welcome to take one of the affirmations for yourself today. It's from a book, Volume 1, What Would You Do to Heal Planet Earth? And it's by Treasures Gathered by Queen Afua. So think of one. I kind of like the last one. May we unify as we purify, ending all war, separation, suffering, and greed that has consumed the earth. May we tap into the natural wisdom of the ages as we heal ourselves, that we may heal planet Earth and the entire world family. So without further ado, this is opportunity to bring on our very, very special guest. And I will go over her bio, but again, we are, our topic today is frequency, a path to planetary healing. So our special guest today is Louise, and she is founder of, and she can correct this when she begins to speak, founder of Matrivska, a peace and innovation ecosystem and creative hub lab specialized in art, music, and sound healing, ancestral and modern knowledges, wisdom, sciences, creativity, mindfulness, traumas, mental health, environment, and multi-generational healing. She works also on the ancestral arts and knowledge and an inclusive and extension definition of art as defined by ancestral communities, which includes arts, music, dance, rituals, cooking, plant medicine, record some intangible and immaterial cultural heritage throughout the world through the marginalized and silenced ones. She's also an artist, a poet, a writer, a businesswoman in tech, a mindfulness, deep listening, and social presencing practitioner. She explores through diverse mediums the planetary patchwork and the world. She has a master's, or she'll pronounce that for me, degree in contemporary history, gender studies, and anthropology at Paris 1 Pantheon Sorbonne University, and a double master's degree. The first one is in international studies and international security, specialized in environment, Geopolitics of Conflicts and Natural Resources and Right of Indigenous People at Mendes, France University and Grenoble. And the second one is in Arts, Cinema, Digital Humanities at École Normale So well, you can help me with that, Madly, when you're on Paris, Descartes and Sorbonne Novole universities. Her research focused on creation, identities in the Black Americas, University in post-colonial context and artistic circulation, imagination, and the digital term of the humanities. Quite an extensive bio. Without further ado, like I said, I will bring her on because we want as much time as possible to hear her presentation, have her share with us all her gifts and energies and frequencies. And I'm just going to bask in it and turn it over to her. You are on.
Just a moment before you do that, Prophet Cox, could you be so kind as to share the graphic of today's event? Was it share your screen and then turn it over to Maddie? Or I can.
The graphic of today's event or her picture, which one do you want?
The graphic of today's event and then her picture.
The graphic of today's event. Okay, let's go back and find that then. Okay. Is that the welcome?
The one promoting today's event.
Okay. That one.
It's still loading on my side.
Okay. Can everyone else see the graphic?
Yep, I can see it.
I can too now.
Yes. Yes, I see it.
You want me to leave, you want me to leave that up?
No, and now you can go to her photo and her presentation. Thank you.
Okay. That one. You wanted to stay up?
No, just in order for the audience to see who's speaking, you can, as soon as she begins, you can, turn the controls over to Matley.
Okay. So I turn it over and mute myself. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be here. And thanks for having me, Prophet Cox and Unity Health Network. Okay, so if I can, I am going to share my screen. Thanks a lot for the introduction. Share screen.
Let's see who is the host then. Give her the co-host.
All can share the screen. You may share your screen.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. I try to, okay, I'm going to reduce you. All right, let's see if I can put it in bigger size. Okay, that's good for you? No, too big. Okay, all right. So today, let's talk about frequency, a path to planetary healing. When we talk about frequency, we think about, of course, oscillation, amplitude, resonance. Let's say that frequency is also linked to level of consciousness, but also sound, because with the frequencies, the waves, we can actually develop sound healing therapy. And frequency and resonance, because frequency is linked with energy. And of course, like attracts like. We can say it this way, but we'll see this more in detail. Okay. Frequency in an energies world. We'll see later where the the term energies word is from. Frequency, let's say that in physics, frequency is the number of waves that pass a fixed point in unit time. Also the number of cycles of or vibration undergone during 1 unit of time by a body in periodic motion. Frequency is the number of time that a wave, especially a sound or radio wave, is produced within a particular period, especially 1 second. Actually, let's say that all sound are not perceived by human ear. And actually, the audio frequency spectrum, also known as frequency spectrum, a sound frequency spectrum, is from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. Frequency sometimes referred as a pitch. That's the number of time per second that a sound pressure wave repeats itself. A drum beat has a much lower frequency than a whistle, and a bullfrog call has a lower frequency than a cricket. The lower the frequency, the fewer the oscillation. Okay, that's just basic principle. Here, a simple reminding of the frequency formula. Okay, here is a link you'll be able to come to check, because that's well shaped, and that's explain many things on the sound if you want to push a little further, but that's not really the purpose here. Let's not let's focus on the purpose of the day. Okay, Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla. Everything in life is vibration. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. If you want to find the secrets of universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, what is usually viewed as a things word is in fact an energy word, a resonating word. Every resonating being continuously transmits and receives on its natural frequencies. It's a resonating word, and everything in it is a resonating being. People, things, nature, structures vibrate at their own frequency. We are all resonating energy all the time. For people, objects with the same frequencies, when one vibrates, the second also vibrates in resonance as the second receives energy that are transmitted from the first. Okay, actually, that's a system that creates a system. When we speak about resonance, we speak about system where different parts are actually exchanging energy together. All right. Every person, couple, and organization has aspects of electromagnetic energies, such as frequency, resonance, dissonance, vibration, amplitude, interference, broadcast, reception. Okay? All right. We are just little technologies with all these terms. Okay. Can you hear the sound? Okay.
Not yet. You may have to stop sharing and start sharing. There it comes. Yes, we hear the sound. Yes, go ahead. Now I no longer hear the sound.
Okay, good. That's good. That was just some second.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, we just show on this recording. Okay, hold on, because I have to go on. No, we are going to stop that. Okay, and I have to go on full state. Stop share. Okay, excuse me, I just want to return in full screen. Can someone help me with that?
You just click on the tab where you have your presentation.
Okay, all right, great. That's not this presentation. All right, Great. Okay.
PowerPoint, go to PowerPoint, go to PowerPoint.
Okay, excuse me, I just have to, how can I?
Okay.
Okay.
To the far, go to the far left.
Okay, that's maybe easier. Okay, now, 2 seconds. Ooh.
Just the actual PowerPoint presentation in the PowerPoint application that will allow you to share more of your screen.
Yes. Okay. Here we are. No, we are not.
And Madeline,
sorry about it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Just take a breath.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I find it.
And you can just start talking. You always have plenty to share, whether you bring up a PowerPoint or not. So just.
Okay, that's good. You see it here?
Yes.
You can see the PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's continue. Great. The headphone. I am not in the same mode, but that's not a big deal. Oh, okay. We just see that. All right. That's not that interesting. Full screen. No. Okay. I'm so sorry because.
Take your time. We're all at your convenience.
Okay, sorry. Presente maybe. All right. Okay. That's great. Okay. I don't know how I can. Okay, no, not that interesting, but. Okay. Oh, yes, let's talk about frequency in a resonance world. Each person has a natural frequency at which their body operates under an affective condition. This is the authentic energy of the person's body without external factors and is important to health. At the same time, a person may be affected by false frequencies, distraction, which disrupt or reduce the person's authentic energy and may cause illness. Based on this, identifying a person's authentic energy and how they are affected by forces, by false energies coming from many external factors has a direct impact on the person's well-being. Authentic energy are coming from an object in self when forced energies are directed at the object from outside and may become part of the object's energies. Some forced energies or distraction can be perceived in this world as medials, money, power, advertisements, and commercial, for example, just to say a few. Now, let's dig a little further into principle of electromagnetic energies relevant to the person. Frequencies. Each person has natural frequencies. The person's authentic energies and false frequencies, distraction, energies from outside the person. We just said it. An important step in creating any authentic situation, individual, activity, relationship, group, etc., is for a person to be tuned to his authentic energies and distinguish those from the false energies that come from outside. Resonance, dissonance. Okay, let's say that dissonance, resonance is the degree to which a person's natural energies align with his activities and surrounding energies, meaning that we have to be aligned with our activities, with our values, to be able to manifest what we want to manifest in life. Constructive interference, destructive interference. the effects that frequencies from a person's surroundings have on the person on frequencies. Consequently, you can choose to have a surrounding that uplifts your energy or a surrounding that actually create leaks in your energy. You have to choose wisely. Amplitude is the strength of the energies in the person, and a person can guide the amplitude of different energies to achieve different conditions. Transmission, reception. In this way, we can be perceived as receptors, like little technologies, in this sense that the effectiveness of communication and interaction that a person has made up of are effectively energies, information, but also feelings, emotion, needs, desires, because everything is energy, time, attention, are transmitted by and received by the person. Energy diffusion or blockages. Impacts of the medium through which energy are passing on the energies, such as cultural, language, background issues, physical elements, all that can actually interact in the energy field of someone, of an organization, of a world society, of a planet. This can also point to productive versus wasted energy for the person, but also for the organization, the state, etc. Now, let's talk about an approach that can allow to be maybe more closer of one's authentic energy. The a person who approach helps us distinguish between natural energies and forced energies in a person. Natural energies, authentic internal energies, the person themselves, while forced energies are energies that are acting on a person from outside. This is well expressed in a person who approach. For example, a person is going to say, I am a surgeon. Or if we say she is a person with a surgeon, and natural energy is a person, while the external energy is being a surgeon. That's actually a different level of consciousness, and we'll see that in a sec. The a person who approach both highlights the similarities between all people, we are all a person, and strengthen awareness of the important distinctions between the internal person and the external who. Okay. Now, frequency and level of consciousness. All right, I took this document from a website that's actually a self-help website where we can hack your energy up when you are in need. And this graph shows us the waves pattern and the frequency and their consequence on the body feelings. Okay, consequently, we have the delta frequency, the delta waves between 0.5 and 3 hertz. In this state, we are in a state of detaching from the external awareness, dreamless sleep, okay? There, in the theta, between 3 and 10 hertz, we are in a phase on sleep, but also Zen meditation or memory processing. In the alpha waves, 8-12 hertz, we enter the creative thinking. We are in meditation. We can practice daydreaming activities, quiet flow of thoughts. In the beta waves, we are actually in the early sleep, outside world, problem-solving state. In these states, we can solve problems, engage complex thoughts, but we can also feel overexcitement, anxiety of thought. The gamma waves between, 38 and 138 hertz, attentive, higher states of conscious perception. In these waves, you are actually in your higher ability of creativity, of receiving information. And when we talk about these waves of frequencies, these mental waves, these brain waves that actually has a correspondence with your mental state, with your brain activities, but also with your well-being, with your inner peace, actually. Let's draw a parallel with the fact that these frequencies can heal. Now we are going to talk about several methods that are invented to heal with frequencies and to develop new sound therapies. Of course, we'll see further where all these therapies are actually from. Let's say that we have several levels of consciousness. This theory is developed by the Dr. Olivier Mandel-Rieu, who is a doctor in pharmacology, but also in an hypnotherapist. Is also trained in shamanic practices, mainly from the Polynesian islands. And Mental Waves is an institute created by Michel Laurent and is a musicotherapist. And they actually create a method, a sound therapy method to allow people to transcend level of consciousness. Let's be clear, we don't speak of level of spirituality. We don't speak of the inner work and the connection you can get from beyond. We speak about level of consciousness, creating a universe to allow you to be in self-awareness and to be actually observant of all that is, including yourself. Okay, level of consciousness 1 to 7. Physical health also, physical body, etherical body. At this level of consciousness, we are going to say, I am a doctor, I am a founder, that's your identity. Level of consciousness 7 to 40. Now we are entering the emotional purification. I am madly. Level of consciousness 14-21, mental level, access the psychic abilities, communicate beyond time and space, okay? Level of consciousness 21-28. We are in the causal level, collective, unconscious, answers from the past, familiar constellation, and all possible futures, time and place. We are actually tapping into all these things. When we consider this level of consciousness, of course, we are considering ourselves as multi-dimensional beings. We can tap into different dimension, and we actually have several bodies. We are going to push further into that also. Level of consciousness 28 to 49, Buddhic body, the self that observes all that is since the beginning of the world, clean one's karmas and attract narcissists. And actually, that's funny because in that level of consciousness, you are actually a target for people who also access this level of consciousness, but we chose lower vibration, lower frequencies of thinking, of living. We are going to have people who are living in the ego, in the addiction, in the will of control. We are going to be in the quest of superpowers, or rather than being and than doing the inner work to heal. After, we are the level of consciousness 49-77, and in this level we entering the I am that I am, the architect of my life level. Level 7, the atomic body, divine access, 1000 hertz. And there in some tradition, indigenous or not, we are Buddhism, for example, but also some Polynesian tradition. We are going to speak about the 1000 petals, evolution, healing, enlightenment, spiritual realization, awakening. Okay, That's this state. We are going to actually be in the higher vibration, okay? All right, let's say that with the emotion, if we are feeling fear, we are really low in the vibration. That's low frequency. And with the resonance between frequency, energy, vibration, we are going to vibrate low. We are going to be a target for illness, for low quality thoughts. If we are vibrate low, we are higher on the scale. And when we are in gratitude and enlightenment and all that, we are actually at the top of the scale, and we are highest by to the 1,000 petals. Okay, let's talk now about solfeggio frequencies. The solfeggio frequencies are part of the older 6-tone scale believed to have incorporated sacred music, inclusive of the famous and beautiful Gregorian chants. Okay, all right. The unique tones and chants are found to impart spiritual blessings when they are played harmoniously. Every solfeggio tone comprises frequencies necessary for balancing energies, keeping the spirit, mind, and body in a perfect form of harmony. Solfeggio is the use of sol fast syllables to note scale tones, that is solmization. Okay, also known as a singing exercise. Okay, let's say that there are 6 main solfeggio frequencies. The 396 Hz for liberating one from fear and guilt. 417 frequencies for facilitating change and undoing situation. 528 Hz for miracles and transformation, like DNA repair, meaning that sound can actually touch and reach intracellular level and repair cellulars in the cells in the body. The 639 frequencies for relationship and reconnecting. The 741 solfeggio frequencies for getting solution and expressing themselves. 852 Hz frequencies for returning one to a spiritual order. The 963 Hz solfeggio frequencies create room for oneness and unity. Okay, let's say that for returning one to a spiritual order can be perceived by what the indigenous and the elders, the ancestors called actually returning to the great mother or returning to the primordial egg. Okay, now sound therapy using sound, music, and special instruments played in therapeutic ways, combined with deep self-reflection techniques to improve health and well-being. Okay, let's take some example. For example, ancient Egypt, high priests and priestesses chanted the several vowel sound in their rituals in order to lift the spirit and enhance the healing process. In Greece, Pythagoras, the father of music therapy, built the Pythagoras Mystery School in the island of Kotona. Okay, and Pythagoras unraveled the mysteries of musical intervals. Okay, and he thought that healing could occur using sound and harmonic frequencies. It is believed that Pythagoras traveled to actually what is known now as sub-Saharan Africa and mainly East Africa in ancient times. In Australia, the Aborigines called the didgeridoo an instrument that is also an healing instrument. And that's really phenomenal because like in the Inuit medicine in Siberia, we can say that actually the ancestral medicines are in alignment with modern sound healing technology, and that science confirmed the benefits of ancestral knowledges, okay? All right, the flow frequency. Now, let's say that we are in the flow frequency when we are actually connected to ourselves, to the universe, to the 0 point, let's say. In the Egyptian cosmology, we have this concept of Otep, and if you want, the Amen. When you are in this peace, in this vacuity, in this space filled with all that is, with the absolute essence of everything, we are actually at this 0 point, the point where you can actually receive the information from universe, from the divine, from higher, the higher energies clearly, okay? And there you are in the flow frequency. Why am I interested in this flow frequency? Because actually I believe that that's the field where artists, but also healers, shamans are actually tapping into to get their inspiration. All the deep thinkers and creative peoples, but also if we can see things a little more in a scientific way, we can say all the neurodivergent people also, all the people that actually synchronized their left and right brain, okay? Yeah, let's say now that we are going about creative frequencies, frequency art, inspired action, and resonating flow in an energies world. Okay, creative frequencies, when we can tap, when we can connect to ourselves, when we can go beyond our own drama to transcend ourselves and reach higher frequencies, connect to what we can also call ancestors, orishas, and but also saints, and all the people who are healers, mediums, but also in channelization, things like that. There's actually a frequency art, meaning creating from this place of love, from this place of reception. And in the ancestral cosmologies, we have, as women, a specific role to play in the awakening and in the healing of the planet. And through these frequency art things, actually, we are considered to be, when we are aligned, when we are in our highest frequencies, and where the intent of our art is aligned with the greatest good of all, we are actually, and with, of course, love, unconditional love and unity, we are actually vibrating in the highest frequency. In the Bible, okay, I don't know if that's a good example for everybody, but I consider everything as a searcher, as mythologies, considering that I am going to speak there to the Catholic mythology, to the Muslim to the Muslim mythology on an equal basis. Okay, okay. When we speak in the Bible about some figures, some feminine figures like the Shulamites or the Kendakes in ancient Nubia. Okay, Shulamites. The Shulamites are actually the women who are diabolized, crucified by the patriarchal societies and religion. But these women are actually God's women. They are called to be hand of God in the Nubian in ancient history. And why? Because they are actually priestess, and they can actually receive the information. They are called to be a cup, because they can be perceived as a cathode and an anode, and actually attract frequencies. okay, and attracts information to be able to create from a place of love to the greater good of all, okay? Let's talk now about inspired action. Inspired action, when we say inspired, we are actually saying in spirit, okay? That means align with the higher spirit, with the divine spirit, okay? With the primal spirit also, if we think about returning to the primordial egg. And when we speak about resonating flow in an energies world, we are actually attracting the people who are vibrating at the same frequency. We can consequently vibrate at the same level and be able to spiritualize the matter, the energies, to create in an organization, for example, okay? And let's say, I said about the Shulamite, okay? Because, for example, the Queen of Sheba is believed to be a Shulamite. The Shulamite is the woman for who Queen Solomon writes the Song of Song, I am black, I am beautiful, I am black, okay? This Shulamite is actually the woman who chose God, who chose divine love, okay? Rather than mundane love. And actually that divine love is also, if you want, a metaphor of the pure light, the high frequency, high vibrational light in the universe. And the Kendakes are actually the ruling queen in the ancient Nubian tradition. And these women are actually connected to the universe, and they are fighters, warriors, meaning they are transmitting a knowledge, okay? And they are also able to rule, to administrate, to create. I say that because that's actually that can be a model of development now in modern Africa and in the world for women, for high vibrational women who want to reconnect with primal energy, to co-create a better world, okay? Because in African spirituality and African tradition, time is perceived as a continuum, past, present, and future is merging. And there we are tapping into quantum mechanics, quantum physics, okay? All right, now let's talk about another tradition, Sanskrit, Hinduism. We speak about Akashic records, okay? We speak about karma. Actually, this tradition is believed to be reintroduced in the Western world, but what we call in the Western world, after Helen Blavatsky and all this school and all the people that work on the theosophic philosophy areas, they popularized actually ancient Eastern theories, all right? And the karma, okay, I have a great definition of karma. Let's think in terms of energies, vibration, and frequencies, okay? Let's follow Nikola Tesla. Karma is simply an impeccable, perfect system through which the energetic quality of a choice is mirrored by the energetic quality of the consequence. Okay, let's repeat that. Karma is simply an impeccable, perfect system through which the energetic quality of a choice is mirrored by the energetic quality of the consequences. Okay, a mechanism that combines all universal laws. And it's perfect because actually karma is equal for everybody. You reap what you sow. Okay, let's say that in the Eastern tradition, karma is not perceived as depicted in the Western tradition as a kind of retributive force that's come back to haunt us as it is something negative. No, actually, karma can be the best thing resonate with life and to adjust your manifestation if you are not satisfied, because you choose the level of consciousness you are from. Are you a creator? In which frequencies do you want to tap? Because everything is about uplifting your frequencies to be able to access a higher state of consciousness, of inner peace, to be able to be in a great flow reception frequency. Okay, now being what I've been sent to be, singing one's unique song in the universe. That's the purpose of life. Actually, what if our purpose was just to express the divine in our singular and particular way? We are all here with the ability to co-create and to with the universe, with the source that inspire us. And actually, that's amazing. Let's tap into that. Let's co-create. And if we think about the karmic and the Akashic record theory, let's say that the Akashic record is a kind of library, a kind of energetic library. That's a vibrational state. That's not really a physical space, but you can tap into this energetic knowledge, this energetic huge amount of wisdom, consciousness, knowledges to actually adjust your future in your present, okay? And to be able to maybe reconsider and heal your karma, if we can say that this way, okay? Considering that, you can choose, if there's a field where you can tap into to be inspired, you can choose to connect to this highest source from highest energy. And for that, you have to be fully connected with yourself. And for that, you have many methods. For example, you have to eat high vibrational food. You have to practice gratitude. You can, for example, practice meditation, yogas. You can go into some healing session therapy. But, you know, there are some people who go to a trek in the desert, for example, or for yoga classes, and think that they are going to be enlightened this way. No, I think that's a conscious connection, a perpetual flow. You have to practice, and you have to measure and to adjust your level of frequency. In this sense, you have to ground yourself and to observe yourself. You become actually not the center of the universe, but your own center, to be able to not react, but act with the universe. And actually, that can be an interesting way of seeing things. We can perceive in this way the world as an energies world, where we are attracted together in group, in organization, to co-create things, okay? And we can, in this sense, in this meaning, decide to tap into the highest frequencies of compassion, of love, of solidarity, and all that, of harmony, to be able to co-create a more sustainable world. And I say that, and I use this very example because I think that in here, that's what we've done. Okay, if we have some time, I would like to share with you some extract movies and an extract of this African rhythm, because that stuff really helped me in my reconnection with ancestors. Okay, because as you can see in my on my path, I studied many traditions, and actually not the African one. When ancestors decided, and when the divine decided to touch me this way, they came by within. And actually that's great, because for this tradition and for also the other tradition I am from, which is also linked with the African, because I am also a Black Caribbean, meaning the Caribbean, the natives, so-called native Indians here, the Black Carib were already mixed with African because, and they were originally from South America, and they are believed to be linked with the Peruvian and all these tradition in South America, and they travel to Caribbean. Okay, all right. I don't know. Let's tell me, what do you want to do now? Do you have some time to see what I want to show you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I don't know if you have a question. You want to do all your questions?
I can because I came a little later because I postponed the other meeting. Okay, all right. Okay. And do you want to ask me some question now?
Well, I was going to ask you with your time, we want to leave room for questions, but I do want to see, I mean, we're here as long as you want to be here. We're good.
No, I just told you I came here later because I postponed the meeting I had to be fully available for you. So don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we can go with this with these extracts. Okay, you have to say I came from France. I am completely disaligned. Okay, I don't know who I am. I am really, really, really irascible. I get angry. Really, that's not me. That's not me. My mother doesn't recognize me. That's not me. And everything is falling down around me at this period of time. That was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And I didn't understand what happened. But actually, that was the call of the ancestors. I needed to stop the rhythm and the life I had because that wasn't me. Okay, I needed to hear the call. Let's have a look at this. Okay, the Rhythm Project. Just listen to it within your body, okay? Be fully conscious and aware. It is a Malinke rhythm.
C'est du rythme. Toutes les choses, c'est du rythme.
You can see how the rhythm and how the frequency are actually integrated in the daily life. We don't think about it. We are living the promise.
Toutes les choses, tout le travail, tous les bruits, c'est des rythmes. Djembe. Kansaba. Bering. Le pas de marche et le rythme. Parole, c'est des rythmes. Kini masenekele ibo seneti. Eke. Kini masenekele ibo seneti. Eke. Ana. Eke. Ana. Duba. Ana. Eke. Ana. Duba. Ana. Eke. Ana. Duba. Ana. Eke. Kini masenekele ibo seneti. On est dans le rythme. Toutes les choses, c'est le rythme. Nous, on ne va pas égorger notre culture, on va la garder. Ça va rester. Je suis sûr que ça va rester.
Okay. There's no movement without rhythm. Okay, I'm going to give you the references if you want, because I also have a little document on the way the guys did the documentary, and that's quite interesting also. Okay, do you have time for another stuff? That's a kind different, but that's also really creative, and I wanted to share it with you.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Okay, that's the frequencies. I have to return to this presentation. Okay. Oh, no, that's not that one. Okay, here, that was already planned. Okay. I am going to show you at the very beginning what we can say, and we are going to try to draw a kind of parallel with our own educational system, because sometimes that can be things like that, our way of thinking, the way we are educating our children, of all that. Okay, let's go there.
And we're very keen to make sure that Marie fulfills her potential.
Is that not guaranteed now?
We don't see it.
Do about her emotions.
It's a common side effect. The higher the frequency, the lower the empathy. One tends to drive out the other. The luckier we are, the less we care about it.
And no one's going to be luckier than Marie.
No, it doesn't appear so. There are certain things we can try. Knowledge does determine destiny, after all.
I don't want her to be an experiment. We want her to make friends, have fun, fall in love, have a normal life.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you must understand, that won't be at all possible.
Stop him. If you want to find truth, stop him. If you want to find
Okay.
truth.
All right, that's what about Mary. This movie, her name is Mary Curie. This movie is actually named Frequencies. That's a British movie from 2014. And actually we are in a science fiction movie. Let's now talk about the other protagonist. Which name? Sorry. Just here. Same school, same lady.
Obviously, this is not great news, and we cannot force the choice upon you, but we are very strongly recommending that Zach be placed in a school better suited to help him fulfill his potential.
Because according to you, he has no potential.
Are we supposed to see a movie here?
Sorry?
Are we supposed to see a movie here? I don't see
Yes.
anything.
That's
No.
true.
I just see only part, the movement, songs, rhythm. I just see the statement. I don't see a movie.
Okay.
There's just audio, no visual video.
Okay, all right. That's okay. That's me. That's because of me. Okay.
But
Sorry.
I really love what the movie was saying right there. I mean, I don't love it, but it was
But you are going
showcasing.
to see it. You are going to see it. I'm so sorry about that. And I think that that's really important to see. You are going to see who is Mary. If you want to see it again, you tell me, but I think that you are going to see Mary. That's the little Mary.
Yes, we
Okay.
need to see it again.
Yeah,
We
go
need to
ahead.
see it.
Okay, great. All right.
I know that it is difficult, but you and Zach,
Here for Mary.
and we're very keen to make sure that Marie fulfills her potential.
No, no
Is that
video.
guaranteed now?
That's good?
Is there
No
anything
video. Just your name. No video.
No, nothing.
No movie.
Really? Oh.
It's a common side effect. The
Okay, what I can do is that. Perfect. And now we are going to be all right. If I can escape the mode. Okay. That's good. We are going to see it here. Okay. Let's say that I just put it here.
There's only a statement that says there is no movement without rhythm.
Yes.
In French.
Okay. Can you see the main screen now? No?
No, we only see the statement.
Okay, I stop the share and I return with the share.
Okay.
Now, thank you for your patience, Willie. Can you see it now?
No, just see no video. Is it? Oh, okay. Now we see your PowerPoint or something.
My screen. Okay. All right. And now I bring the video in the PowerPoint to be able to watch it.
Okay.
Let's open it here because I don't know why
Thank you, Queen Mother Leona, for saying something.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, no, I can't open it in the PowerPoint. I don't know why.
You did a right click?
Oh, okay. That was maybe now that's going to be good. I don't know. No.
Yeah, usually if you do a right click, and then is that it?
Okay.
Or
No,
if you could copy the link and put it in the chat, anyone can share it then.
Oh,
exactly. That's really great idea because I can do it differently. Okay, in the chat, let's go.
Let's see if I see it.
Chat, great. Okay. Great idea. Okay, you got it?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Precious Medicine, Stephanie Shuler, knowing.
I have it. I'll start it.
Okay, great. I started too.
You got it too?
You have to go to 519 for Mary.
Or can we say it from the beginning, from where you were telling us? Is that where you started?
Yes, 519 minutes. It's on the chat also.
Excellent. Thank you.
519. You see it?
19. Yeah, 519 for Mary.
Okay. Faut-il que tu investisses aux Antilles avec une SCI? C'est ce que je te propose de savoir.
Is that not guaranteed now?
Can you hear it?
Is there anything we can do about her emotional?
Yes, we hear it.
Her emotions.
It's a common side effect. The higher the frequency, the lower the empathy. One tends to drive out the other. The luckier we are, the less we care about it.
And no one's going to be luckier than Marie.
No, it doesn't appear so. There are certain things we can try. Knowledge does determine destiny, after all.
I don't want her to be an experiment. We want her to make friends, have fun, fall in love, have a normal life.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you must understand, that won't be at all possible.
Stop here. If you want to find true love.
Okay, we can end it now for Mary, and we can go to 6.
Hello, Miss Anderson. Hello, Marie.
36.
So where do you want to go in here?
Yeah, 26:36 for the little boy.
26:36. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, what about 24?
And after we are going to go to the
Let's go
last
there.
one. In the chat also.
I think mine's wrong. Meet my friend. This is Isaac Newton Midgley.
Zach, hello.
Oh, Obviously, this is not great news, and we cannot force the choice upon you, but we are very strongly recommending that Zach be placed in a school better suited to help him fulfill his potential.
Because according to you, he has no potential. But a special school. Can nothing be done?
I know that it is difficult, but you and Zach have to accept the fact that he has abnormally low frequency.
So he'll be a little unlucky.
Mrs. Midgley, we need to be clear on this. Zach is a negative. This is very rare, but it means that he is literally out of sync with the natural world. He will be beyond unlucky. He will never be in the right place at the right time. He will never fit in, apart from with those of his own kind. He no longer belongs here. That's not our opinion, that's scientific fact.
He is gifted.
He's a genius, but unfortunately surrounded by prodigies. Perhaps we should ask Zach what he wants. Is this what you want, Zach? Do you really want to stay here?
Yes. Good. Good boy. Now,
Okay,
you're going to
so
need
Zach
help.
is in love. Let's go to 5721.
37, say it again.
Yes, 57, sorry. 21 in the chat also. They are teenagers now.
5721.
Yeah, and really the mother of the little boy is really great because she's really there for her son.
Myself,
Okay,
long
let's
ago
go.
when Marie was younger. It seemed impossible.
Words.
Words?
The right words.
Or magic words?
We think so, me and Theo. You remember Theodore Adorno? He's been helping me. We discovered a link between synaptic function and resonance.
The way you think affects your frequency.
Think lucky, and you'll be lucky.
Not quite. The synapses need to be manipulated in a certain way. These are you, all high frequency. And this is the world. And this is me. Now what the words do is this.
Well, that's never happened before.
Spilling some water.
Marie spilling anything. What have you done to my daughter?
What I asked him to do.
Let me explain. Me, Marie. Now, this is how the words work.
You steal people's frequencies.
It's just physics. They balance the environment. In actuality, what really happens is this. Both the vibrations of the sound waves and the words themselves create the effect. It's a new type of quantum entanglement.
Mental and physical processes at work simultaneously.
Like dominoes. And each person affected affects the next, ultimately adjusting
the whole world.
He's the only one that can make me normal. I'm the only one that can make him normal.
It's unnatural.
But it's reversible. The natural order reverts itself very quickly.
One word can change the world.
Not one. Nature needs constant nurturing.
Well, you have to keep saying them.
Yes, but less and less often
because you are like a low-frequency organ in a high-frequency body.
A virus.
And the word prevents rejection.
Yes, but the words constantly change as the environment constantly changes. We worked out a rough formula of sound.
How do you monitor the changes?
It's a modification of Marie's frequency analyzer. It measures the changes in the room and then formulates a word that I should say to balance the environment. It's still in beta.
Can I? If the world is a maze, this is the map. You realize what you've done?
Made me happy.
I mean, this could be the most important discovery of all time.
There's still so much about it we don't know.
It levels the playing field. I mean, think what would happen if everybody uses it. But no lucky, no unlucky, true balance in the universe for the first time. An end to war. Justice for all. Have you got the patent?
Hi, this is Theo. You know what to do.
Okay, we can end it here.
It's Zach. Good news, we've got a meeting tomorrow at Fortune's lab. Call me when you get this.
Was that it?
Thanks a lot for listening. And yes, the movie is Frequencies, and really, I think that's great. And I don't advise anything, but if you want to watch it, it's free on YouTube. And I am amazed by the creativity and by the fact that actually, for what I showed you now, for Folly, the first documentary, I realize now that was a calling at a moment I needed to reconsider myself and to choose which frequency I wanted to be in and which vibration I wanted to myself. And actually, this stuff really reconnected me. That means that the drum effect, that's actually a shamanic healing. And the fact that I was listening this kind of music, but also sound with drums from Caribbean, the fact that I was always in nature, because that was also a call of nature. If you want, when I was a student and when I lived in Europe, I experienced all that stuff. I got all my degrees in these fields always, because I was in other frequencies, but I was always environmentalist, passionate with myth, with histories and things like that. But actually, that came when I came home, and this kind of stuff really reconnected me. And I realize now that that's what I am going to do in my company. At this time, I had no idea of what I could do in my life, what I wanted to do. And actually, I realized that was through this medium, a call from ancestors and beyond and the divine. And actually, the movie is another inspiration, but I think that in our society, we tend to think that because this person is from a great family, because he attended a great school, is going to be a success. And we don't think about error. For example, there's people like Asperger people. Asperger autists, the term came from a Nazi, Asperger. And this man realized that among the disabled children, we had some who could actually work and be quietly efficient. That was actually exploiting them. But they realized that these children had special abilities, but no intellectual deficiency. Consequently, they decided to call them Asperger. And that's true. These children have special activity. They became adults, and they tend to suffer from loneliness or relationship and issue to connect in their work. Okay, but creativity, recognizing their weaknesses, can allow them to connect to their strengths. And actually, in the indigenous communities, we also have this kind of profile and deep thinkers and awakened people who did the inner work to be connected to the flow of life, who actually are concerned by this kind of preoccupation, and who need, like I was, some knowledge, wisdom from the ancestral lands and the old lands. And actually here, when I came back, I learned plant medicine with the elders, plant recollection, things like that. And that was really amazing. I think that before I knew, everything was already set up to allow me to maybe be here today and really see that frequencies are a resonance, and that if we are here today, that's because these same frequencies, this life energy beneath everything, had the opportunity to connect us. When I say things to uplift, there's a nature, there's all that, but if we believe also in other tradition and in Eastern indigenous system of knowledge, we also can speak about traumas we have to heal, but also soul tie, soul contracts, rounds also. Let's say that there's Lise Bourdieu who took ancestral knowledge again, and who shaped a theory where she said that the soul wounds are rejection, abandon, betrayal, humiliation, and another that causes rigidity, but I forgot for now. When we go into this path of inner work, of inner connection, we also engage, we also realize that we want to stop engaging in the same patterns of choice for lifetime after lifetime, for relationship after relationship. These patterns become what we think we are, and they are actually scars, but they are not who we are. And if we speak about soul ties, we can see that in human history, there's a commonality of loneliness, anxiety, martyrdom, rock the boat, or loyalty. These are actually, you can find them on the internet, and I can, if you want, develop a little more if you are interested. Because just like the archetypes, all these stuffs are actually ways to better know yourself. And that's the key, know thyself. Because once you know who you are, you'll know the gut instinct. I hear today, earlier in a Grace conference, that the gut is a brain, is a second brain, and that's true. One stuff that allow me to stay aligned is to analyze this gut instinct I can have. And actually, I think that universe taught us through our body, through what we love also, and through our intuition. And all is about being connected to this intuition to be able to connect and to create from a place of love, and to be able to channel the energies, the frequencies and the vibration to connect with people that can help us go further in our purpose of unity and love and healing.
Can we, thank you so very much. You covered an awful lot of information. Excuse me. So let's take some questions. I had some things in mind, but I would let those, I would like to hear from well, anyone, questions on, she's covered a lot of different topics, and from the frequencies, Akashic records, karma, the whole healing, physical healing, as well as planetary healing. So questions, because part of course, the Global Unity Net is also around healing the climate and the earth and all of that. So questions in terms of how you might use it in the work that you're doing. Anyone?
Okay.
No, not you. I mean, so that they can ask you maybe. Sorry about that, man. I was hoping that they would. I had some ideas. A lot of. You've done a lot of studying, lots and lots and lots. Anyone? Unmute, question. Are you there? If you're there, turn your camera on, someone. I know I don't have mine on. I guess I could turn mine on, huh? And I'm looking at my computer, even though I'm on my phone is my screen. So that's why it looks like I'm looking away. Anyone? Heinrich, Lloyd, you're working on the dream or vision board, which this goes quite well with that. So any comments on how this would fit together? Sometimes people are multitasking. Are you there, Lloyd? Or?
My name is Queen Mother Leona, and I don't have a question, but I would like to know how I can use this within what I do. I do dance therapy. I have a dance studio, and I just ordered more drums from Africa. And I would like to use this, how to use frequency within my studio. And I'm not real sure of how I would do that. Is it something that I can look at, or like that movie that we saw? Maybe look at the entire movie and see how it went, or is something you can tell me to help me to use that?
Okay. About frequency, you have many things you can do actually. There's first the solfeggio frequencies I talk about in the talk. Prophet Cox has the PDF if you want the link, but you can find them on the internet. And you can, me personally, in my healing process, I used the videos of a man called Anthony Sommer on internet, and he created a lot of stuff to heal a lot of things. And you can sometimes also, I wanted to go and to heal with the vibration linked with the chakras, but I do all that on the internet. And because I worked on, when I received that call and I understand that we could perceive other dimension and other stuff, I first wanted to be secure. Consequently, I did a first work on attracting the highest energy to be sure that the energies I was communicating with, I was influenced by, that more maybe, were actually in love and unity. And consequently, each time I went on YouTube, I said, okay, I was not alone, I was with the divine. And I said, okay, guide me through for the intent of your heart, from your intention, because once you understand that you are communicating, you are actually vibrating and you are not alone anymore. And that's the way you can actually decide to heal and to heal all these wounds. When you are actually in the wounds of rejection, abandon, you are codependent, you actually have to integrate these frequencies within, this vibration within. And dancing is already a great way, because you are feeling the vibration, the frequencies within. You are connected to the song. I tell you, I was in such a situation. Finally, I got to move, and I moved, and I didn't really have nor the peace of mind, nor the inner peace, nor the financial means by this time to actually make plenty activities. But I wanted to heal. I was in huge suffering. I received this call and I didn't know how to deal with all these energies. And I was alone in my house dancing, just trying to mimicking the movement of the ancestors of the people I saw dancing traditional dance. I was listening to this stuff and these frequencies with my phone. And actually, I was in my mood. I was in my bubble, and that was my word. If I can now create a word, digital word, arts, and a company, that because I grounded myself through dance, through plants, and everything is energy and frequency, actually. When you hit something, there's a frequency. 40 17, but you have to check. I think that's the frequency of the chlorophyll. Consequently, you can hear this sound and have your body regenerated as if you were in a forest. You can, if you want, use these frequencies in your studio just to help your student to relax. After, you can go deeper. You can, for example, use the Sylva method, the Silva Ultramind method. That's a book. You have Anthony Sommer on the internet for the frequency. You have the Silva.
The name of that book, can you put it in chat?
Yes, Silva Ultramind method. That's the Silva method. And that's between the hypnotherapy and the biohacking, I say. And with this Silva method, with the Silva method, you have actually a way and a meditation to be able to access successfully all the mental waves. This way, you start being in a low frequency, in a sleep state. Then after you go deeper, then deeper within and beyond to finally reach a meditation state and inner peace within. And this way you can fully connect. And the Monroe Institute, yes, next, there's 2 weeks ago, I did something with them. And that's amazing also. The Monroe Institute, Mind Valley, that on Mind Valley, you can find the Silva Ultramind method. Yes. And you have many, many methods. If you want, I can detail, but I think with that, you can start. And you can also just let the flow draws you on the internet and just have some music, some link, and let yourself guide. And you'll see, you'll find great stuff. We have great stuff also in Caribbean with the drums and all that. And don't hesitate to ask if you need to.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay, I don't know if I answer your question. Do you want to?
Yes, you did. You answered my questions more than I wanted. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Andrew.
Prince Andrew, you have?
Well, first of all, thank you so very much. This has been very enlightening and empowering for myself, of course, but I hope also for you, because again, we're not just reaching the people here, but we're reaching a worldwide audience. So I do want to thank you, but I also want to ask if I may have your permission to share your presentation publicly. And what I was going to suggest to you, Prophet Cox and others, if we are willing to, we can in fact publish this. I do have an account on SlideShare, so make sure you include your contact information, and I can also include any references there. But if we plan in advance, we can also post all the content that we want to share to our audience online. So then we can just insert it in the chat and anyone can then reach it there. But I just wanted to thank you all so much for that. And don't be shy about asking questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, I wanted to just add a couple of things. I was hoping to get some more feedback on some of it. Hold on one second, if you will.
There's some messages in the chat. I think Stephanie Shuler, if she's there, had a comment. Stephanie, are you there?
Let me share something really quick, just real quick. This goes along with what Natalie said. Stephanie, I think she dropped off real quick.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher.
These are photographs that show frequencies from words that we say.
The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France.
Notice when the images change and what causes them to change.
This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's Air for the G-string on the water. Is of a very polluted and toxic
Now this
water
one
from
happens
the
to be all about water.
Fujiwara Dam. Here now.
Stop it for a second and maybe do this another time. The thing that happens is that the thing that happens is that there's one that actually shows
sound coupled with an
that actually shows that it looks totally different when you use certain words. It becomes, and I don't have it up real easy, so we'll do it another time. But going back to what you talked about, Natalie, to Queen Mother Leona, is that affecting the frequencies is our thoughts and our words. So even something as simple as saying a negative word about someone or even a negative thought changes actually the structure of the water. So the fact that we're 70% water, that our thoughts about people, our words about each other, the planet or whatever actually changes the molecular structure. So just wanted to. So I see something from Lloyd. Did you want to say something? I was trying to get a question or something since we're working on this dream board and Natalie's a part of that. And she's covered a lot of information that was specifically beneficial to that particular project. I just thought maybe you had some thoughts about it. I see Prince Andrew's hand up again, but can you unmute Lloyd? And
yeah, certainly. I was away for a while from my computer, so I haven't been hearing the entire conversation. I'm going to go back later and watch the recording if I can find time to do that. But yeah, we are certainly talking about the Dream Board initiative to see if we can install these dream doors, working with hopefully some Fourth Industrial Revolution people, companies that can begin to work with the younger people especially, but also the older people, the visionaries like yourself, who have those visions of a better future. I believe that's what we want to do is put those into format so everybody can see what a better future might look like for their own communities. So these are not just dreams. What we'd like to do is map out using tools like LiDAR the real communities as they exist today, and then put them into virtual reality environments so that we can imagine what they might look like with different types of infrastructure, in particular the regenerative infrastructure, the food forests, the farms, those pod buildings, for instance, and see how even these communities can work with this new infrastructure in place in those virtual reality environments before they're constructed, and get all the community partners on board with actually starting to implement some of that real world infrastructure in our communities. So that's what essentially the dream boards are about.
And they and that's helpful because I don't, like I was sharing with you on the WhatsApp, sometimes I get kind of confused about things, but that's okay. I catch up sooner or later. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But so for me, the most successful dream board I had magic markers in a piece of paper, and it manifested within a matter of a couple months. I guess what I'm wondering with this group, is it something like with the youth and the corporations, is it something that we can do to create a dream board before it gets to those levels? It's at least the way I learned it. If we start here to do something simple, and you don't need a lot of technology, if you scratch it with the sand with your finger, well, I guess you want something a little more permanent. But
absolutely, we can start even with chalk drawings on the sidewalk, in permanent, and on paper and on whiteboards and anything that we have at hand. It doesn't need to go that high tech at first, of course, but I think what it needs to be is accessible to the public, so the public can see what the dreams of a better future might look like.
Well, one of the things I guess I want to say is that what I would be able to show you, I don't have the paper now, but I think the manifestation could be that we do a dream board, and when it manifests, we show it to the public. That's how we can let them know the dream boarding works. If we have something that we can work on, I don't know if there's something simple, because the everything on the paper that just with crayon and paper or whatever manifested, is there something which would be different than us making a blueprint and then showing it and saying it can manifest? Can we do something, manifest something that we put down and then show that?
However you like to move forward, this is an open discussion and open to ideas and our own manifestations of how this might work. We're not constrained by any limitations on how we want to make these dream boards happen for ourselves and our communities.
Prophet Cox?
Yes, sir. Oops,
If I may, I would like to suggest that we have a complete presentation on dream boards. And I'd like to suggest that rather than wait until they manifest to share it with the public, that we share it publicly so that the public themselves can become part of the dream board. However, for today, focus on what Natalie has brought to our attention. If you could look on your screen, I put into the chat a link to Dan Winters. And this image that you see, it's related to fractals. So the phase conjugation has a direct relationship with wave fractality, which is the purpose of today's discussion to a degree. But I did want to take the opportunity to let you know that this information is in the chat. If you have an interest in following up, I had the opportunity to meet Dan Winters several years ago, and on this website, this link is also in the chat, you'll find that the focus on the golden mean ratio and its relationship to the heart vibration, all of us, I believe, could be a very direct way that we could begin to learn how our own consciousness can align itself with the reverberations of the earth itself, because we are in fact all connected through this one galaxy. But it's up to us to be the ones to decide to make the decision to connect ourselves with the universe around us. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I would say though that what I'm saying about the dream boards, maybe I'm not making it clear, fits in with what Manly Louise said, because going strictly back to frequency and vibrations, and there's a quote, realization guarantees manifestation. I think is powerful for the young people if they see us have something that we've used. If you have, if you have a tool and you say it works, if you demonstrate it works, then it becomes a sort of a real good testimony versus. And so when you said bring people, but we're all public. So anyway, just a thought, we don't have to do it that way. It's kind of like I think about going to church. I hear a lot of preaching about something, but the demonstration, being able to show that we have something simple. It's just like the grants we're writing. You want something that you can demonstrate and replicate. And then you can say you can replicate this because like Dr. Was it Moto that was doing the experiments with the water, that he did one after another. And because he did them, then people began to believe that you can affect a water just by your thoughts and your words. So if we can show that we can affect our circumstances, one something with a dream board, and that global net, Unity Net has demonstrated one small something, doesn't have to be major, but we use the dream board tool to do that, then to me, that's a really strong selling point versus just saying this is what it's called, and but we don't have our own group demonstration. But that's just my thought because I'm not over any of that. So
but Prophet Cox, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just suggesting that the words you're using to describe what it is you're talking about, I believe can even be more powerful if we set aside a day and just walk through it visually so that we are able to demonstrate what we're talking about as we talk about it to give power to our words. But thank you.
Okay, we can do that. And then Natalie Louise, she covers so much. I'll just look, she could have did a university just out of that one PowerPoint. I was like, wow, she just, and I know you manage the information so well, just a lot of information, even the fact of being able to get answers without having, like years. How can we like get into a state and hit, and I did have a question for you, but and hit a level of frequency where we can get answers that we haven't been taught someplace else. I mean, that's a whole thing too. So going back to healing the earth and healing bodies, and someone has diabetes or something with their kidneys or whatever, that we can actually get the frequency to the point that it heals itself. That's what I liked about what you were saying. So some of the things that we're tackling that seem like impossible tasks, sometimes on meetings, and it's like, are you kidding me? Another problem. But you bring up frequencies that really, the frequencies and being able to hit these high levels is not really, you said it in there, and I think it was in our other thing too, it's not the intellectual piece. It's not even the technical piece, because some of this stuff has happened for millions of years without any of that. So there's another place to go with this that is so simple. It's like everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten kind of thing, and I saw your hand, Lloyd. But that's why if there's some place we can do something simple, something so simple, that's why I said the one that we wound up doing, because we had to do it for work, which just was magic markers, and it didn't have to be fancy. We couldn't draw in paper, but everything, the airplane trip, the pine trees, the plate, the whole thing was free. I did that probably in January, February, and by June, I was in California going to the places that I never even knew that I'd be able to do that. So I'm just saying it's something simple there. It seems magical, and to most people it seems kind of, they used to tell me la la land or airy fairy because it's not the real world. Let's be real. Those are kind of things that we think from an intellectual standpoint. But to be able to get even a few more people on the page of what you're talking about, because what you covered was pretty doggone deep. I see Sheen on there. I know she's a traditional African healer, so you understand these things, that there's some things that that are just out of the realm of a lot of the, I mean, it's just the frequencies, just like you said, it's just different. And we can tap into answers that we don't even know, have the questions for sometimes, but it is a matter, it is the frequency. And actually what Queen Mother Leona said, the frequency, thoughts and words, and you said it, love. If we can get into a state of love, that transcends all. We don't have to analyze, we don't have to have the PhD, we just being able to love. And then they found with cancer that a lot of people with cancer, the Mayo Clinic found that they had a lot of unforgiveness. So something like unforgiveness, resentment, guilt, fear, those are the things they push with COVID too, by the way. We won't get into that, but it weakens the immune system. So I'll start with the remedy. I saw your hand up, Lloyd. I don't want to, love is the frequency. It's not just a frequency, it is the frequency. It's the highest frequency, but it is a different kind. I mean, we all know when we get there, it's just not easy getting there. It's not like, I love everybody. And yet somehow we get there. We know because our cells know. Love is the highest frequency. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that perhaps I think what I was thinking earlier as you were talking was that we manifest our own futures based on the dreams we have. And I think that's the link with the dream boards and the frequencies. And what we're trying to do is sync up all of the frequencies of the minds of the people in our communities so that they're all dreaming the same dream and moving toward the same goals. And that is the purpose of the dream boards, is to sync everybody's mind to the better future they want and to make them realize that that's the future that they desire, and to untap what they desire in themselves. And you have to write it down, and that's been told to me so many times. To manifest any future, whatever it is, you have to write it down. So you write down your dreams, you write down, you draw it, you put it in words, but beyond the words, it has to be written. It has to be put into a journal. It has to be put into pictures and drawings and visualizations, so that other people can understand it and sync with your own vision of what is a better future for your community, for the people. And so basically that is what a dream board means, is to try to connect with the rest of the souls in your community so that you can work together toward a common vision. Just putting it in front of them might be enough for them to say, well, you know, I think there could be something added or something better, or maybe something slightly different that it could make it better. And you get all those ideas together, especially from the young people who have no preconceptions about the way the world works. And then they come up with something really unique. And so bringing it to the students and the young, in the classes, even kindergartens, and saying, what would you like, asking them the question, what would you like for your future? Even if they aren't sure, they might come up with something that's unbelievable, and their parents will see it, and their grandparents will see it, and their teachers will see it, and hopefully the leaders in the community will see it too, the people who have the financing to actually make it happen. And so I have a dream, for instance, for my own community, where I live exactly next to a highway. There's a space between the highway and the other side of the community that's got a hydro corridor. I'd like to see that developed into what we call I've been giving a name, I forget right now, but basically what we'd like to do is develop that land to become productive and start producing this food that we've been talking about, the climate smart, the regenerative climate smart food. Why can't we plant the food forests there on this land that's not being used because it's just underneath the hydro wires? And so we can do things on land that's in our communities that may be unique, where we can see what manifests if we were to put it on paper and say, here's what I dream of doing with this land.
So this is what I say. I think that just in getting to know you a little bit better each time is that you think in terms of systems, which I think is good. I guess I think a little bit like a kindergartner. So this is what I would say about it. Then the dream board would be that you start, put it on paper, draw pictures, colors, whatever you want to do that brings life to it. But it's not really taking it to them and showing it to them. You put it somewhere in your closet, and based on the law of attraction, it's supposed to come. You don't even have to go look for the money unless you're led intuitively to do so, because it is on a different, it is not like a business plan that you take and show. It is something that you can put it in the closet. You can put it in a box somewhere, but it's still working. Because now the other thing that you said that I wanted to add something to is you said, because of this is what you want, that you said something about what we want. And so we can say we want something, but here's the thing about the law of attraction. We can say we want it, but if we haven't worked on consciousness and self, if there's some doubt, if there's something else, we cannot, I won't say deceive or fool the universe it will know and it will act based on that other piece. So part of it is doing our own work around it. And so that's why I said before we take to young people, because for the churches or whatever, people have been saying they believe in things, but the young people start noticing, okay, you say that, but what's happening that you're not showing that, because we do have to really do it at a level so that, and of course I didn't believe in, and I didn't disbelieve, but so I would say if you want that, that's a project right there. We can actually, if you put that on paper, however you want it, if we have a group or something around it, but I'm saying let's demonstrate something. The young people have had so much that has not, I've talked to several young people that were Christian, they're not now, they were this, but they're not now because they haven't seen the manifestation. And so if we manifest stuff, because we don't know if it works or not ourselves until we manifest it. How do we know that this?
Maddie Louise's hand has been up for quite some time.
No, I see it. I see it. And I got to call, I just want to finish it with him and just so that the, yeah, that's all I'm saying is that's a difference in and it's not like an advertisement to the world. It really is getting the vibrational piece is also a law of attraction. And so it draws to it that which is really what's genuine. But go ahead. Yeah, I see your hand. I'm just trying to address one point. So as we go forward, because like I said, it doesn't have to be this way, but it is, the laws do work a certain way. They don't have like sort of haphazard, they do. Go ahead. I saw your hand though, Maddie Louise. I wasn't ignoring you. Go ahead.
Yes, no, but I wasn't in a hurry. I just wanted to say that, yes, you said about, thanks first, Prince Andrew, for the golden ratio information, because I need to push further on that. That's fractality is actually the core thing and all that. Yeah. And thanks a lot. And yes, that's true. Actually, you got to find a place within to be able to connect. And that's the art. I think you say, Prophet, that there's a place you have to go. You can't access this kind of knowledge this way. You don't access them because you want them. You don't access them because you have a quest and a need to get them now, because there you are in the ego. Actually, you have to be authentic and to surrender. I think you have to surrender and to renounce to a kind of free will, to understand that you are part of a system and you don't understand everything, and you can get some inspiration from bigger, highest energy frequencies that can actually guide you, and that actually helps you in your life, that actually answered your prayers, the word you don't pronounce loud. And the connection is actually the art. When you are the chakras, actually, people, when they are not spiritual or conscious, let's say conscious, beyond spirituality, beyond religious, when they are in low frequency, low vibrational level, they are actually in the root chakra, meaning they are on the instinct, on the sexual energy, but the energy not directed, not oriented towards the greater good. When they are not connected to the things of the universe, the lower chakras are actually blocked. The circulation can't be done between the lower chakras and the upper chakra, and the royal crown chakra. And actually what happened is that people are stuck in low vibration, addiction, problem, pattern. Actually in life, I think you don't have to be fearful. You have to be patternful. You have to reconnect the pattern and want to break with them, to be able to access this higher knowledge, to be able to access these trends, to change your life, to transform yourself. You got to access your heart. To do that, you have to open your heart chakra. All is about heart opening, because once it is done, we are talking about life energy. Life energy is sexual energy. That's the reason why it's linked with women. Actually, you got this energy. Some people in India call this energy Kundalini, and this energy is portrayed as a snake, an energetic snake that come from the lower chakra and that just roll up to the crown chakra if the way is open. And to do that, to open the heart chakra, actually, you have to vibrate at the frequency of the heart. once it's done, you have to continue and to vibrate at the frequency at the throat, the third eye, then the third, the crown chakra. And to do that, you have to be connected, heart-brain coherence. That's a second part we can discuss later, but that's another subject, heart-brain coherence. But that's the key, actually. Your heart got to be pure to be able to welcome the kingdom. That's the metaphor, the biblical and the myth and the legend in their metaphors are really, really expressive, and they can really depict a reality. That's for the brain and heart frequency, and that's exactly the same for the dream board. This stuff can really become even an annual event where children are involved, and behind the fact that they have to dream collectively, they first have to connect to their point zero in their heart, because the heart is a gateway from within, for within, but for beyond. And that's interesting because actually I think we can't influence what people are going to create. We can get them access to their art, and this way they can get influenced and they can receive their inspiration, because they are not going to be happy in our dream. You have people who don't want to be spiritual. You have people who are young souls, and they are just there to experience. If you put them in the spiritual path, they are going to be uncomfortable and unhappy because they are not there for that. You have to be aligned with what you have been sent to be, with your reality, with your own frequency. Discover your role, actually. And that's great. I think that if we can show people that they can dream big, that they can meet themselves in their heart, and that they can heal, they can follow guided path and some interpretation that other people did before them. For example, Carl Jung with the archetypes, or the people who are talking about the soul ties, the soul wounds, all that stuff, because that just gives you a framework, that's just narratives to be able to speak. And what is important with the digital revolution we are living and the creativity, because there's also a kind of creative renaissance, just like in 1492, and that's not an hazard if I think about aligned towards the greater goods. Let's speak about an ancient myth and legend. Let's speak about Lemuria. It is believed that there were energetic, or maybe, I don't know true, but I think that was energetic kingdom or island on Earth, in the Pacific, in the Atlantic, and in the Indian Ocean. In this island, in Lemuria, and that's known to be the mythical origin of all the islanders and indigenous communities of the world, and of the people who are searching for enlightening. Okay, we are, a lot of people are linked with, feel themselves linked with Lemuria or Atlantis at a vibrational level. And actually in these societies, you actually add several levels of consciousness, and hierarchies were born there. Why? Because some people learned to use crystal, to use natural frequencies, incense, plants, to connect with the universe. And they were actually connected through their pure heart, through their ability to attract higher frequencies, higher entities, to be influenced, inspired. And actually that creates a difference, because they became an elite compared to the ones who couldn't do that. And after times, things get worse and worse, and more people learned to see God in what feels good at once in the moment. And the elites.
Real quick, Madly, Prince Andrew, can you stop recording and stop the live stream? We're just kind of having a conversation here, but I don't want to stop the conversation. Can you stop those? We don't need those on recording.
Okay, yeah, just a moment, please. Oops.